Mr. Ryan, for the purposes of an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my great pleasure to honor a few groups here today.
Proceed, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my great pleasure to honor a few groups here today. One is Dr. Mark Travers, who's a professor of oncology at Roswell Park Institute and a renowned researcher and practitioner for people suffering from cancer related to smoking. Then we also have students here from a group called Reality Check, and they advocate for tobacco control, and they talk about the dangers associated with tobacco. We have Emma Britton, Shelby Schaefer, Dan Lee Fang, and Jasmine Menser. And on behalf of myself, but also Assemblywoman People-Stokes, Assemblywoman Rosenthal, Assemblymember Cahill, and Assemblymember Kearns, I ask you to welcome them and express to them the cordiality of the floor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Certainly, on behalf of Assemblymember Ryan, the Speaker, and all the members, we welcome you here to the New York State Assembly. Doctor, we're really pleased to have you and proud of the work that you do at your institute, and the students who are supporting that effort by keeping our population healthy. Thank you for the work that you do. We hope that you will be well received here in Albany, and always feel free to come back. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, thanks so much, Mr. Speaker. If we could go to page 56 of the main calendar, we're going to start on consent with calendar number 691 by Ms. Rosenthal.
Clerk will read.
Assembly 9251A, calendar 691, Ms. Rosenthal, an act to amend the public health law.
Read the last section. Hold on. On a motion by Ms. Rosenthal, the Senate bill is before the House. The Senate bill is advanced. Read the last section.
This act shall take effect immediately.
Clerk will record the vote.
Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Morelli?
Yes, sir. Just want to remind the members this is our first vote of the day, and I know there's a lot going on, but if people could cast their votes, and those who are near the chamber should make their way in to cast their first vote of the day.
Certainly. First vote of the day, members. Are there any other votes? Announce the results.
Ayes 108, noes 0.
The bill is passed. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the brief interruption so that I can ask members of the Aging Committee to go, or I'm sorry, Small Business Committee. Aging is concluded. Small Business, Mr. Thiel looked like he was jolted by my announcement. Committee on Small Business, Mr. Thiel is prepared to conduct that in the Speaker's conference.
Small Business Committee Speaker's Conference Room. Follow Mr. Thiel. Clerk will read.
Assembly 9306, Calendar 692, Ms. Pollan, an act to amend the executive law and the criminal procedure law.
Bill is laid aside.
Assembly 9313C, Calendar 693, Ms. Rosenthal, an act to amend the criminal procedure law.
On a motion by Ms. Rosenthal, the Senate bill is before the House. The Senate bill is advanced. Read the last section.
This act shall take effect immediately.
Clerk will record the vote. Are there any other votes? Announce the results.
Ayes 94, noes 0.
The bill is passed.
Assembly 9323, Calendar 694, Mr. Ryan, an act to amend the Alcoholic Beverage Control Law.
Read the last section.
This act shall take effect immediately.
Clerk will record the vote. of doing double duty. Are there any other votes? Announce the results.
Ayes 109, noes 1.
The bill is passed. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing a brief interruption. The members of the Governmental Employees Committee are invited to join Mr. Abadi in the Speaker's Conference Room, Committee on Governmental Employees.
GovEmp Speaker's Conference Room immediately. Mr. McKevitt.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of Mr. Tedesco, looking to interrupt the proceedings to introduce a very special guest. Today we have us Father Carl Urban from St. Adalbert's Church in Schenectady, and he's also here representing the Polish-American Congress of the Capital Region. So asking you please welcome to the floor and the cordialities of the House.
Certainly, on behalf of Mr. Tedesco, the Speaker, and all the members, we welcome you here to the New York State Assembly. We extend to you the privileges of the floor. We hope that you have enjoyed the proceedings and will enjoy our passing resolutions honoring Polish Americans in this state. Thank you very much. Clerk will read.
Assembly 9348, Calendar 695. Mr. Abadi, an act to amend the Retirement and Social Security Law.
Read the last section.
This act shall take effect immediately.
Clerk will record the vote. Doesn't matter. Any of them to look up from Jean-Pierre or Miss Hunter.
Are there any other votes? Announce the results.
Ayes 96, noes 1.
The bill is passed. Mr. Morelli?
Thank you, Ms. Speaker, for allowing a brief interruption. We are joined in the chamber today by a group of distinguished individuals who come from Ms. Hunter's district. She's very excited to have them in the chambers, approximately 20 individuals who are with a group called Access CNY, which is an organization that supports people with developmental disabilities, acquired brain injuries, and mental health issues in the Syracuse and Central New York region. They were recently awarded a grant from the $1 Million Roundtable to enhance services they offer to veterans with mental health issues. I also note that our colleague, Assembly Member Hunter, was a former member of the board of directors of this organization, so these are longtime friends and associates of hers. We're delighted to have them in the chambers observing our proceedings. Want to wish them all the best and to please extend the cordiality of the House to this fine group.
On behalf of Ms. Hunter, the Speaker, and all the members, we welcome the distinguished guests to the chamber, extend the privileges of the floor, and hope you enjoy the proceedings. Thank you for joining us. The clerk will read.
Assembly 9357, Calendar 696, Mr. Avenatti, an act to amend the public health law.
On a motion by the Senate, on a motion by Mr. Avenatti, the Senate bill is before the House. The Senate bill is advanced. Read the last section.
This act shall take effect on the 180th day.
Record the votes.